to go live, and when I click, is it on?
The
It might be
broadcast
on.
is live.
It might be on. So, first things first, it is very possible people will show up and be rude to you. This is a live broadcast, so I have to tell you this on air now that you've already been ensnared into my trap. I don't know. The chat is unpredictable. So we're using StreamYard for this, so that I can look at the chat messages and pop them on screen. If someone says something funny, which is very unlikely, to be honest, given the nature of my viewership, is they're very unfunny. I'm so sorry. But introduce yourself. You are the official first guest on this podcast forum. I'm trying to get this like
Really?
into on the podcast forum, from like YouTube videos to podcasting. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm working on it.
I'm excited to set a precedent for everyone that follows.
Yes, yes, you will be. No matter what happens, you will be the worst guest because the first is always the worst.
Yeah. Well, my birth name is Mike. It's a lot easier to say than my Twitter at every single time you address me.
Yes,
So that's
yes. That's what I was going to talk about. Like your Dave Rubin's blocked list, right? Is that correct? Like,
yeah.
is that your brand? Like, because that's what I have in the title. Like, do you have a brand? Like, I like you
Um.
because you're just a Twitter poster. You're like nobody. You're like
Yeah.
anonymous, you know?
Off and on. There's other people that take up the mantle of dissecting Dave Rubin's tweets and clips much better than I do.
That's I'm sure
Periodically, I'll
correct.
screen grab his tweets and kind of like break down like why this is propaganda, why this is funny, why this is stupid. But ultimately, I'm just a poster.
You're just a poster? Is that the end of your sentence? You ended it a little abruptly. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to point that out. Is that too awkward?
Um, yeah, that was. I mean, that's really all there is to it.
Okay.
I never would have even conceived of putting a face to my Twitter app before. It was cool
Okay.
being anonymous, but then at the same time, I'm glad to be bold enough to own up to it.
Yeah, no, that's me too. I've been through off and on Twitter many times, and this Twitter I made like at the start of the primary as kind of just like what's on Twitter, and then I decided to, because I'm a narcissist, make it all about me, and now I barely tweet about anything except for what I'm eating and how I feel, um, because I'm a loser. But yeah, we're talking about the debate because that's apparently like that's happening, right? Like is that like is it gonna like is Trump just not gonna show up? Like what's going on?
Um, well, first off, I'm disappointed because I was expecting the Don Jr. Hunter Biden debate. So,
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be on Joe Rogan, I think. I think that'll be they'll concede, meet in the middle there.
I mean, I would tune in for that. Is that on Spotify now?
I hope not because I don't have a Spotify. I don't
Me
have a
either.
Spotify. I don't even really know what that is. I'm so sorry.
It'd be like the first time that Joe Rogan doesn't have to ask you guys ever done DMT.
Is he allowed to say that on Spotify? Are drugs okay on Spotify? I don't know.
I didn't know. I mean, it's the spirit molecule, isn't it?
I hope so. All I know is Spotify is apparently making him bend the knee, so I'm not sure what he's allowed to say and what he's not. Because big tech is censoring Joe Rogan. Um, that's I don't know.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. How do you feel about the Spotify employees? Are they threatening a strike so that they can get editorial control over his platform?
Is
I mean,
that
over his
actually a
show.
thing? You're breaking news to me right now. Holy shit!
This
Holy
is,
fuck!
I mean, as far as threatening a strike, I know that this is all in talks. I don't think anything's been confirmed or that I know of. But that's been one of the big conversations because then Ben Shapiro came out saying, if
The
my
free
Daily
speech
Wire
warrior
employees,
himself.
yeah, if my Daily Wire employees ever tried this, they could just go on strike permanently or whatever, something
Oh my
illegal.
god! Something illegal. That
Yeah,
sounds hilarious to me,
you
actually.
yeah, you can't fire people for striking. Um,
Yeah, like I don't know. I think that's just really funny. I have to look into that. I know like the Joe Rogan parroted some like Antifa's causing wildfires thing, And then like he had to like make an apology that was like, I've never seen that before, so I'm pretty sure he was, bending the knee right there, getting censored by big tech. Uh yeah, I just bending the knee is so funny. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was really funny. But I don't care about Joe Rogan. I care about Joe Biden, because I am a Joe Biden voter. I am vibing with Biden or whatever.
I think. Wait, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can
Okay,
hear
good. I
you. You
pressed
are
a button, then
audible.
it's like a USB drive. You press the button, and then the other way,
Yes.
then the other way, and you don't know when you're back on top. Yeah, so I think I'm actually vibing with Biden a little harder than you are.
Really? Oh shit. Okay, so I just want to respond to a chat message. I don't have a swivel chair. I lay on my bed with no sheet on because I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to put bed sheets on. This might be embarrassing. I tried it a couple months ago. I was really high and I couldn't figure it out. So now the bed sheet is somewhere, and I don't know where it is at this point.
Is it a
Oh,
contour sheet?
it's the one with the little stretchy bits. Is that a contour sheet?
That's a con. Yeah, that's a
I
contour
don't I
sheet.
don't know how it works. I'm sorry. I really tried. I threw it somewhere. I don't know where it is, and I honestly am too lazy to try again. Maybe I will though. Maybe I will. But no, I don't have a chair. I have a bad back. Yes, all of those things are
Okay.
true. But yeah. So I have said this before. My initial compromise position before September was I'm going to vote to get rid of Trump in the state of North Carolina, because that's where I live, a swing state. My vote matters, unlike everyone else listening. Um, but I said I was going to do whoever is polling high enough against Donald Trump in order for them to win. So I was like, if Kanye West comes in, if he gets 45% in the poll, you know what? Let's do it. That sounds fun. Um, which that really just means Biden. That means I'm voting Biden. But that
Yeah.
gave me a little wiggle room, and I'm a professional linguist, so I like having that wiggle room. But now at this point, I don't care. Like, yeah, I'm voting for Biden. Like, suck my dick, bitch.
That's the amount of. That's the only appropriate level of emotional investment that's acceptable for this election. Yeah,
I
I'm voting
agree.
for Biden.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I know that it's going to be a little funny because this conversation is predicated upon the election, but I don't like talking about the election. Like,
No.
it's just like I don't know, man. It's because everything is like I feel like I'm in a time machine whenever people are talking about it because like they're always talking about things that it's like I felt like we talked about enough during the primary. We're talking. It's just like I get it, dude. Like another thing is like I think we have a similar persuasion here. Are the Joe Biden reply guys, like the people
Yeah.
that like respond to every Joe
Oh my.
Biden tweet? It's
Oh
like
my God. They're
it's
the
so
worst.
cringe, and it's like yeah, but you don't support Medicare for all. It's like yeah, no shit. Like I don't know.
Especially, especially because this is 2016 again. Whereas in my political evolution, like right now, I'm phone banking to get people registered to vote and the smaller races down ballot. And I go back 6 months, and yeah, I was reliving 2016. We were in the prime. It was closer to the primary in the primary. Then I go 6 months back from there, and I was living in Germany watching this from another country. Like, oh, wow, shit's really bad over there. And then so I feel like I'm evolving politically, and there's some people
They
that are
just
in the
don't.
same spot. And it doesn't get boring. Like they're sending out seven tweets an hour around the clock of just reply guying any liberal or any
So bad.
socialist with liberal sympathies or
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if you knew
apologetics.
this, but Cornell West is canceled. He's a lib. Angela Davis is canceled. And I get it, and that's the thing that really is problematic here. Is like you have like a bunch of the people who are like weaponizing. Noam Chomsky is voting for Biden. Why aren't you, Bernie, bro? And like that's annoying. That's cringe. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I would rather people just stop talking about it. I'm, I'm still voting yay. I'm gonna get that UBI.
Hey, get the bag.
I mean, honestly, if you want to vote for Yang, um, he might be the person, someone in the cabinet. I don't know. Probably not, but
Yeah, I don't see the chat. I don't want to instigate anything with your chat, but I think
that's
that
fine.
because I mean this positively in jest, but the Yang Delusion, there's something endearing about it. Like people who are like, Did just feel like there's this angle that he's still got I don't there's people that really overinflate his popularity. Like he never polled above what 2%.
I think the biggest he ever got was like 5, maybe.
Oh, I mean if
But
he
like,
beat the Green Party, that's like a start.
well, that was in the context of the primary. But yeah, I mean, like, he like I remember I had this person, and I God rest their soul. I don't know if they're still on Twitter, but during the primary, I had this person who we made a deal that we would stop yelling at each other about Yang until Iowa, and we had this deal, and then he said Yang's going to win in Iowa. You don't get it. You don't get it. He has the
Hmm.
silent majority. It's like they really believe this. And then Iowa happened, and Yang got like 0% because they had that threshold thing. Um, and I remember I sent him a tweet because I bookmarked the conversation, and so I sent him a tweet. It's like, so are you still voting for Yang? Because like they said that they will vote for Bernie if Bernie like wins Iowa, and if they will vote for Yang if Yang
Yeah.
wins Iowa. Like that was their little compromise with me to get me to stop yelling at them all the time. Um, and they just never responded. Like they just like disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to them. So like rest in peace. I understand what it feels like to have your political candidate crushed. Um, but at least my political candidate got cheated. Yours just lost. So I mean, there's a whole different dynamic there.
Yeah, and I can confess my own sins too because we know uh, and we can't name our own selves. We have to take the name. We have to don the name that was given to us. And what did the Hillary I mean, what was one of the things that Hillary accused us of? I'm not going to Bernie bro, but Bernie math.
Um,
Because in the heart of a Bernie bro, we believe in Bernie math. If Bernie was nominated, he'd be polling 20 points above Trump, right? I mean,
I agree with that. Unironically,
see?
so I guess
See?
I've fallen for the propaganda. Holy
And we
moly!
know that we sound insane to other people, but it's Bernie math.
I
We believe
agree.
it.
I agree. I believe it. I don't care if it's true. This is my version of God. You know, I have a Bernie Sanders shrine in the other room. Um,
And I'm sure that there's a pack of tall cells because that's
I
what
was
they are.
talking about Tulsi today because she did
Hmm.
this fucking this. Oh my, it's so dumb. And I just want to reiterate that, like, again, I understand that Tulsi Gabbard is hot. I get it, right? Like, I'm on the
Yeah.
same page there. But like, come on, man. Like seriously. Like, go on Reddit if you want that material. Like, I don't
What?
know what to tell you.
So what's the horizon in the tall cell? Like, what are they going? What are they going towards? Is she gonna take on Jesse Ventura as VP and like sweep an independent race? Like, I'm sure that
She's
there's
on the
people.
Unity ticket,
She's
the
still
the
gonna
Brett
win.
Weinstein Unity ticket.
No, get the heck out.
Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh my god. It's the Unity ticket from the Weinsteins is Tulsi Gabbard and Dan Crenshaw for president and vice president. That's their ticket. And that way they get to end the duopoly.
Please say just kidding.
I'm not just kidding. This is like something that they have actually been doing. This has been a serious. Hold on, let me actually get this for you.
Please. I'm on Twitter all the time. How did I miss this?
I don't know, but the other thing about this is that Tulsi Gabbard and Dan Crenshaw have not acknowledged it at all.
Oh.
So I mean, that's weird, right? Like you'd think, how does Brett have one or two
That
tweets?
is that is not very mahalo of her to not mention it.
I know it's so maybe she has mentioned it. I don't honestly know. Honestly, okay, I just searched Brett Weinstein Unity trying to find this, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't. I will link this to you later. I can't look anymore on Twitter. Um, they made a final decision on that. If you're talking about the Brett Weinstein thing, I think so. I remember seeing this a couple weeks ago that they decided that it was Tulsi Gabbard, and this is like a conscription thing. Like you are going to win the office and you are going to follow your duty because the people have decided. It's like that stupid shit. But yeah, let's talk about the debate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the debate. So I didn't think the debates were going to happen. I'm going to be honest. I was like a
No.
51% on that side. I thought they weren't going to happen. Um, and then like, I just didn't think about them for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then someone tells me, I'm doing a stream a couple days ago, and someone tells me, "Are you excited for the debate?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? The debate's next week?" And now the debate's today. because I spent like 3 or 4 days in like a marijuana induced haze. I spent 3 days smoking weed all day and playing Minecraft because I'm a fucking loser. Um, and so like time skipped from Thursday to Monday for me. So it's like, oh, now the debate's happening. Now it's going to happen. Like, so what do you think is going to happen here with this debate? How long is
Um,
it? Do we know? Like, is it going to be 2, 3 hours? Look this up. Go on.
oh, do we even know? Is it? Are they doing this on a stage or is this a Zoom debate?
I don't know. I don't know anything. I really don't. It looks like it's a stage.
Well, what I'm interested in, because one thing that
It's only going to be an hour and a half. Are you kidding me? That's it? Man, all right.
I feel like there are multiple Joe Bidens in this race because at the same time he's nothing, but at the same time he's a little bit for everyone. And he gave the white suburbans that he's trying to pick up from Trump, he
From
gave them a little
Scranton.
bit of law and order.
A little
A
bit.
little bit
The
of Scranton.
arsonists, the anarchists must be prosecuted with the fullest extent of the law. We'll also decriminalize marijuana, though.
So we're going to see if Corn Pop is at this debate, first of all. Second of all, he has made some good moves. Good is stretching it, but he's doing some things environmentally and regarding minimum wage, getting rid of private prisons. There are some policy platforms that should appeal to progressives. And most of the progressives that are crapping on him are not acknowledging nor aware of any of these platforms that he's running
My
on now.
thing was the decriminalizing of marijuana being added to the platform. For me, I don't need to equivocate anymore. For me,
Expunging
that's enough.
records.
That's also again like
He's
that.
expunging records, I think.
And another thing is like if he's lying about this stuff, which
Hmm.
that's always the response. He's lying with Biden, right? It's like okay, but I would rather be in a situation where the president lied about this stuff and then didn't do it and is a Democrat, right? And we have the Democratic Senate and we have a Democratic House. I would rather be in that position than a Republican with a Democratic Senate or maybe just a Democratic House where nothing gets
Yeah.
done. Because in my perspective, right? Having all and I do think the Democrats will take the Senate personally. I don't know, maybe you disagree. I think it's more likely than not that they will at least
I
get
think it's
50
possible.
votes, at least. Um, and I think that makes it so that anything is possible. And you don't want to get your hopes up because let's be honest, nothing that much will happen. Will we build back better? Probably
Hmm.
not, right? But at least that gives us something to work with.
Yeah, and that's where I think the debate comes into play because that is that I think because people misunderstand what the utility of an election really is. Because yeah, the politician can lie. That's already baked into the cake. But the fact is that if a politician wins on a certain platform, then there is some level of accountability to the voters because at that point you can say that 63 million people voted for you to expunge the marijuana records and voted for you to get rid of the privatized prisons. Because other than that, I think the whole theory of withholding your vote for leverage, I think that's bunk. I don't think anyone can give an example of that happening in history where your leverage against a politician was before they were in office. But this is circulating the left like it's a real theory.
I'm gonna be honest, and again, like 2016 was my first election. I'm a youngin, right?
Hmm.
And I remember like kind of like around that time I was like watching maybe I was like, oh, who's this Jimmy Dore character? And like
Yeah.
after a little bit of watching him, I'm like, this guy is like clearly not intelligent enough for me to. And that this is me in 2016, so like that must have been a condemnation of an infinite variety because I was one dumb motherfucker in 2016. But I was like, okay, whatever. But then you have like a bunch of these people that have been watching Jimmy Dore for 4 years and they are in this they are in like a QAnon similar like
It's an
position where
alternate reality.
they live in some weird world where like Tulsi is further to the left than Bernie. That was such a weird grift. And
Yeah.
people like for me, that's when Jimmy Dore got canceled for me, like as far as any left wing bona fides. But you still have people like, yeah, Jimmy Dore said this, so it must be true. It's like like Jimmy Dore Like I don't know. Like first of all, have you seen Jimmy Dore lately? He's got a mullet now. Have you seen that?
I periodically, I haven't checked in with him as much lately,
He's got a
but
mullet.
from my understanding, for Jimmy Dore, leftism is when you hate Hillary Clinton, and the more you hate Hillary Clinton, the more left you are, because that's how Trump always seems to be on the left of the Democrats,
Yeah, I
right?
know. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And yeah, Trump does a few things that are like, okay, that's, to the left and like that like there's a few things there and that's why it's so dangerous. And the same thing with QAnon. It's like, yeah, the Clintons are corrupt. And then they just extrapolate all this fan fiction on it. And that's the problem. Is you take a premise and the core of that premise is 1000% true. And then like because that person believes that premise so hard, they're able to be manipulated into thinking that like Joe Biden is evil incarnate and you have to just vote Howie Hawkins for some reason. I don't know. It's just weird. It's super strange. Um,
Yeah, and I think that's going to come into play during the debate because what happened in 2016 is that Trump knew he was going from, point A, I'm an outsider, point B, Hillary Clinton is corrupt, and he just had to connect that line. Whereas Hillary Clinton was going from I'm qualified and where she had no defense for his attack and the people who came in looking for her to win were only looking at Hillary Clinton's map. So Donald Trump snuck in the back door when he went from point A to point B because they were over in point, C. Does this make any sense? This
yes.
metaphor?
Yes,
Yeah, because
like Hillary's map did not really make any sense. Her path to victory was flawed, and they thought they had it in the bag. And then Trump knew what to exploit and exploited it from the very beginning with extreme efficacy.
Yeah, and I think this is all frame control because the only way that this game plan works out for Joe Biden is because the thing is that Hillary Clinton was a weaker frame. Now, because of my own personal predisposition is that if her point A to point B was healthcare, jobs guarantee, ending wars, then Trump calling her corrupt would have not been this it wouldn't have been the stronger frame, I don't think. At least for the most important voters in
For
my own
sure.
opinion.
Absolutely. Like the people that actually swung the election, right? Like that percentage of people. And that's another thing that like you have these like Trumpers who overinflate. It's totally possible Trump will win. I don't think it's possible for him to win
He
without
could.
cheating. I don't think it's possible for him to win without a court case. I don't
He
think
is
it's
cheating
possible.
though.
Exactly, and that's why it's scary, right?
Yeah.
But like people, like I had this conversation, and this stuck with me, maybe because I was really high. But like a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a stream, and I had a bunch of Trumpers in my chat. And this is like I'm just casual gaming, like I'm not doing like a political thesis. I'm just high, I'm playing Halo, and like Trumpers are here. And I asked them like, okay, you're here. How does Trump win the election without cheating? And they just didn't know how to answer the question. Not only did they not know how to, and I know this is
Hmm.
anecdotal, but like they just said he's not Biden. He's not Biden. Sleepy Joe. Like they're literally NPCs. Like they're just like robots saying
Well,
pre-programmed scripts. And I guess like if Trump's path to victory is not being Biden, how does that conflict with Joe Jorgensen? What is there? Because there seems to be a conflict there. They're both not Biden, therefore they both will win. I don't know, but like, and they couldn't. And this is like a 30 minutes of me trying to have them answer a simple question. They couldn't. They don't know. They don't know how Trump wins the election because they don't
well,
know how elections work.
you also have to define the terms because if they're Trump supporters, then for them cheating means letting black people vote.
That's true. That's true. But like I don't. I really. It's bizarre. I really. How did why? Okay, so we have a chat question here. How would Biden win without cheating? He is ahead in every single poll. He is ahead in the swing states. Like, if you look at 2018 voter turnout and you look at the primary voter turnout in 2020, things are on an uptrend. The anti-Trump like voter is a real thing that exists. We have evidence from
Hmm.
2018 that exists, right? Wisconsin Democrats have been taking this election very seriously compared to 2016. They know they fucked up and they've been polling it. They've improved the polling. They know what's going on. And so you have like a lot of people that think, oh, the polls, there's a wrong poll 4 years ago, so all polling is bad. Like that's another one that's like, in the anti-intellectual spectrum of Trumper is like, did you know there was one poll that was incorrect about Trump losing in 2016? Therefore, when you poll people's happiness index during a pandemic depression, oh, that's not important. People are just saying that they're upset in a poll because the polls are rigged. It's not like, 30% of teenagers have tried to kill themselves. It's not like 80% of people in America are unhappy. No, the polls are fake. Polls are bad. Like, you can extrapolate data from polls. Does that mean you should base your entire life on polls and become Nate Silver? No, God, no. That's cringe.
No.
But it means you can use them for your argument. And Trump has no poll. He has no poll that has placed him in any victorious margin at all. So that's why the question is so simple.
Yeah, and if I mean, of course, just because Joe Biden is watching right now, I just want to let him know, like, how Joe Biden wins without cheating. My answer: never go on defense. Don't defend. Always attack. Focus on COVID-19. Focus on Trump picking a Supreme Court justice that is about to get rid of the Affordable Care Act and pre-existing conditions protections, and attack. That's the strategy answer in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also convinced at this point that the Biden team is just, I don't think that they even have a strategy, to be honest. Like, I think they're really trying to do as minimal possible for this election and win off of the anti-Trump vote. And that's why this debate is going to be so fun. Like, I don't know about you, right? Are you
Mhm.
working throughout this event? Like,
Um, no, I'm gonna I have like I'll be available to listen to this one.
yeah, I don't, but I'm gonna get really high. I might get drunk, and I'm just gonna make a party out of this because I'm of that persuasion that the election doesn't, like, it matters, but talking about it, I mean, right? I'm just in it here for the lulls. Like, really, like, I really am, like, because Trump is significantly slower, dumber, and more of a dullard than he was in 2016. That's just, like, look at any of the debates in the Republican primary versus his
Yeah,
on-screen stuff now. And he's not, I'm not saying he went from 100 to 0, but he's lost a few steps is my point.
yeah.
And Joe Biden, whether or not you dislike him, whether or not you think he's disgusting, which I agree with all those criticisms, he's very affable. And then also to spin Trump's 2016 strategy against Donald Trump here, Joe Biden is not Hillary Clinton.
Exactly. That's his
And
biggest
so that
asset.
it literally it is. It is. Like, Hillary Clinton is uniquely the worst possible candidate in human history at that
Hmm.
moment in time. Maybe if she I'm still waiting for the Biden resigns on day one, Kamala Harris becomes the president, appoints Hillary Clinton as vice president, and then resigns. That's going to happen. That's my West Wing fantasy. But um like Biden he's got that affability and charisma, and the
Yeah.
people that decided the 2016 election, like, they are more likely to go for Biden than Trump. And Trump has done nothing but he has done nothing to get more votes.
No,
Like
and
like
that's
and but one thing real quick is that
yeah.
I've seen he's been trying to do this weird thing where he targets like the black vote. Right? So he'll run advertisements, say, like, Biden created the crime bill. And then, like, the next ad rolling in like Georgia, South Carolina is law and order. Black people are roaming through the streets. So it's like, okay, so is Joe Biden good for black people or is he bad for black people? I don't know. Like Trump's campaign strategy is so bad. It's so bad. It's what do you think?
I think that's where, because I'm really of two minds with, I think that one, like you said, Trump will cheat to win, or two, um, he just can't logically. Like, all things fair, he can't win because everything that propelled him to the White House in the first place was he was exploiting weaknesses in a system that, like, he just had all of the right weaknesses working towards his advantage, and his attacks on Hillary all landed because the Republican Party had built somewhere for them to land. Because if people already have the feeling of distrust towards Hillary Clinton, you just need to sow doubt in something that's already there. So even if it's something completely irrational, it's gonna make people kind of like it's gonna reconfirm a feeling they already have about her. And
Exactly. And
the
that's just not
Burisma
there for
stuff is
Biden.
not. Yeah, the Burisma stuff isn't landing with Joe Biden. Like I don't see how anyone cares about his son getting a job in Ukraine. As corrupt as it is, I don't see it hitting people on an emotional
It's
level.
not on that same wavelength at all. And then you've got Trump, who's been a bad politician, and I say bad in the sense of like he is
Yeah.
garbage and he has done everything he can do to destroy the way of American life. As destroyed and crippled as it already was in 2016, he has made it somehow even worse, right? So he can't run on the I'm an outsider, I'm going to fix things from the outside, I'm
Hmm.
going to give it a fresh look, because he hasn't been doing that. He just gave the reins over to a bunch of Republican like masterminds like Mitch McConnell, and just kind of like sits there and does his little stand-up routines. And so that's why this debate is going to be so interesting, is because I don't think it's going to be, there's no audience, right? So
No.
it's like it's just going to be him making these weird jokes. And the thing that is different from 2016 is I feel like in 2016 there was kind of a collective reality that most people subscribe to, whether or not they had differences or like whatever. Like maybe they had like a few different pieces of reality that they believed, but there was like a somewhat tangible collective reality. Now we don't live there. Like we don't live in this world where everyone sees things in some like similar ways, right? Like
Yeah.
because even leftists, even liberals would see how bad Hillary Clinton is on a debate stage, right? And they would say like, yeah, that was really weak. But like
Hmm.
Trump is in the QAnon people and his followers, they're in a completely different world. And
Yeah.
this is something I say a lot, is when you have Trump doing a stand-up show, which is what I call him, and he just says kung flu, and then you have the whole crowd go like ah, like they just erupt, like it's like that episode of SpongeBob where like SpongeBob puts his arm through the curtain, like literally. So like when you have that situation where Trump is literally in an alternate universe, and like Biden is just kind of like being is ironic and disgusting as it is. Biden's kind of like the tether to the real world for these debates. So
Yeah.
I'm curious how far off the rails Donald Trump will go. What do you think he's going to do? Like, do you think he's going to do you think he's going to go full QAnon? Do you think he's going to mention Antifa? Like, what are we thinking here?
Well, we've kind of seen this before because there's that one. I can't. I don't know in COVID time, but he gave. It was the rally that the TikTok kids bought all the tickets for,
That was the Tulsa one.
and to his credit, he put on from the reports, he put on one hell of a show, which I can like just as which I can say like having some musician experience, putting on a good show in front of no crowd is not easy. And I think it's because he has TV experience being in the
Exactly.
studio. So that's the plus. The minus is I really think that that base that lives in a different world, because I interact with these people and these are the people that say no, I make my pay went up, I make more money, the economy's great. Like the people that live in that world, you can't get them anyways. So this election is going to be determined from people that we're not hearing from, and that's the scary part. But that's also like, that's the part where it's like, well, these people, I don't know. That's that you just don't know. That's the tricky thing.
Yeah, and that's why this debate is going to be so pivotal, I think, is because if Trump just does the whole thing saying kung flu, Burisma Biden, like if he just does that the whole time, that's not going to move the needle.
No.
And then Joe Biden's going to be able to like laugh at him. Like one of the things before I knew how bad Joe
Ah.
Biden was, I really liked him from his 2012 debate with Paul Ryan, where like Paul
Yeah.
Ryan would say a bunch of stupid shit, and then Joe Biden would literally just laugh at him and say like that's what you just said is dumb. Like I thought that was just like Biden has that ability, right? And
Yeah.
it's been used against people like me with the whole Bernie debate that he did, where he's like, hey, look at what Spain's up to right now. They're not doing so good. And it's like, yeah, you just kind of destroyed Medicare for All's argument, and it was with a bad thing, but he looked good while doing it. And I do think that that's going to be a crucial factor in this debate.
Paul Ryan was like, wasn't he like a precursor Ben Shapiro? Because I was fairly young then too, as far as politics is concerned, and that's like the first time I heard the word wonk. Like Paul Ryan was a wonk. And the fact
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like
he's like that guy that like speaks with a lot of like big words you don't really understand and in a way you don't understand, but it sounds economical. It sounds like, oh, this is a guy who knows what he's doing.
because I mean, I think what you just said gave me an epiphany that this is really Biden's debate to win because he can defy expectations. The bar is
Exactly.
set so low for him, and the same kid who's going to steal Paul Ryan's milk money is going to walk up to Donnie Trump with a silver spoon in his mouth, and the guy who's never worked a job. I mean, like the fact that Joe Biden was a lifeguard means a lot to people who have gotten paid
He
an
was the
hourly
only white
wage.
lifeguard in the projects. I don't know if you knew that, but that is a factual story that took place.
White
And he
Suburbans
also
love a
had
guy
he
with a
also
black
had hairy
friend.
legs at the time. That may or may not be relevant. But yeah, no, for sure. What you're saying is very true. Like he had like Trump only has ground to lose, which is another thing why I
Yeah,
didn't think they were going to happen. Because like
he knows it.
I think he is content with the idea that his ceiling has been reached, and I think his whole goal is going to be to try to depress turnout for Biden and to like excite the base, and that's why like we're really going to see that in this debate because if he just does the whole QAnon thing and he does the whole Antifa law and order thing, then we know like he's not even trying. Like he's not
Yeah,
even really giving any effort into that. He's just going for depress the Democrat, excite the fuck out of Republicans, cheat as much as you can, hope for the best. That
yeah,
that will be his strategy as confirmed by I guess 8 hours from now. Holy shit. Um oh god, I'm gonna get so drunk. But but yeah, I mean like that's what I think. Like I don't know.
yeah. No, I think honestly that hits the nail on the head, and I think that really fits in with everything else that's going on as far as everything that's going on with him saying that he won't accept the results of the election. All he can do is ramp up the base that he has, and plan stealing the election more explicitly, which is a whole different conversation than the debate itself.
Yeah, I'm gonna be I'm personally my message has been I think October is going to be the last stable month in American history because the cold corona and the cold weather, that's bad. That's a recipe for disaster. We're all going to die. Trump trying to steal the election, whoo mama, that's going to be rough. The cops would probably be on his side, by the way. That's going to be
Yeah,
interesting, right? Going to vote, just watching all I think personally October is going to be our last refuge and October's my favorite month, so let's all go in. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited because again, I didn't think this was gonna happen. I'm just making a party out of it. That's my perspective.
yeah,
Um, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Because and there was points, if you remember the debates in 2016, one of the pieces on the board was like, is Donald Trump going to be presidential in this debate? Because
Yeah,
all things considered, that's the only place he could go. If he thinks the attack on him is that he's unstable, he can't handle COVID crisis, he can't keep his government together, he can't get a stimulus check through. Maybe that's the card he plays. Because I mean, like I was listening earlier, Biden has some progressive policies he could roll out. All he has to do, it's only up from there for him.
yeah, and that's another thing is that like Trump is an incumbent. So like I'm somewhat expecting him to pull off like an Andrew Yang deal and say like, by the way, I'm signing an executive order as soon as this debate is done, giving everyone stimulus checks. Like I think that might happen. I don't know, maybe closer to the election. But I mean I like they're capable of doing anything. They've said that they're going to do anything. I don't know. I'm fully looking to like he's going to do something, right? If he does anything, he's going to do something epic. And I say epic in the comedic sense, you know? Like we're in for one
Yeah,
hell of a show.
yeah, and that's the only reason that makes me bring up the Trump going presidential card. Because I mean, he can only go further into clown fascism, and that's only going to lock in the 30% of the base that he has. And unless he's rigging the election, so that's the only 30% he needs. I mean the 30% of the country that's his base,
Yes.
or the electorate. I mean, I feel like that's the only way he can go if he
I
wants to
I, I
get new
agree.
people in.
I agree. like it's depress Democrats and suppress Democrats as much as possible and excite the fuck out of the base. And I think, and this is a conversation for like a month from now, but I think there's going to be like fucking militias at poll stations. He's
Yeah.
already said that he wants police at poll stations. I think that it's going to be a disaster. I think it's going to be a disaster. But I mean, I guess this debate will shed some light on what the next month will bring. So, like, I don't know. Outside of that, it's just pontification. And as much as I love to pontificate about things of which I know nothing, um, I don't know. This will be an easier conversation for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight, from a purely entertainment level. Um,
Purely, like, and I can't stress that enough because I know the world is crumbling. I know everyone hates everything right now, but please just look at this like you're watching a sitcom. Look at this like it's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Please, like, I beg you. Like, that's what this is.
yeah, because who? I mean, not. I don't know if this is ableist, but who? I mean, who else has the amount of brain damage that we have that we're going to be watching this debate? Like,
Oh yeah, no,
undecided people don't tune into debates. I mean, this is one of those things where, and I think, and this is another factor, is that Biden can't have any gaffes because the only real utility that comes out of this debate is the 30-second, 10-second sound bites that are going to go immediately to Twitter, that are going to go immediately into the Facebook
I
ads and
can't
everything
wait. I
else.
can't wait. That's such a good point. Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I'm gonna have to have a whole monitor with Twitter on it. That's gonna be a thing. Oh,
Mhm.
this is gonna be so fun. Anyway, do you have anything else to talk about? Like, what is like? This is now. I think we're wrapping up. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
You
that's
want to
it. And
advertise yourself?
I mean, my display name here, Rubin's Blocklist. That's my Twitter handle. If anyone
There you
wants to
go.
follow me to see, so you can even address me personally, and talk smack right to my handle.
That's exactly correct. I will be engaging in that behavior very shortly. As I thought this interview slash discussion slash conversation slash whatever, I thought it was bad. You didn't give enough performance. You were low energy. It seems like you're going to need to have a shot in the ass for the next one. But
Well, I'm a liberal. I should have hyperventilated over
that
like
is
on
true.
things more.
You should have
You
had like
know.
that brown paper bag you just have. Like that's what you need to have. But yeah, no, I thought this was good. I'm excited. I'm going to be doing a debate live stream. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm not going to be streaming the debate itself. I'm just going to be streaming while the debate's happening because I don't want to get copyright dinged.
Yeah,
So I'm just going to be streaming while the debate's happening and watching it mutually with everyone else. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm also going to get
I'll tune
drunk.
in.
Yeah, I'm going to get high. I'm going to have a good time. That I can assure you. That will definitely happen. Yeah, so I think we're done. Do you have anything else to say? Or is this over? Is this over? Can I turn it off?
That's my it. Find me on Twitter.
Is that it? Is that all? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm searching for the off button, trying to find.